Hello, a day with Caleb. We are back in the pickups corner. This time, bringing us uh, some pickups from Josh, the movie collector. A couple months now it's been since McKay's, and we both pulled doubles, pulled upgrades that we got, different things, and we let the other one look if there's anything they need. And these were movies that I either needed or they looked intriguing, so I'm going to watch them. And then I bought something from eBay, and there was a surprise in one of the McKay's things that we'll show. So let's just dive right in. We'll show that at the end, but Channing Tatum and Dog, this looked very cool. Army Ranger Briggs and Lula, so sucker for any kind of dog movie. Big dog lover here. We grew up with dogs. My dad, not really a cat person, not not really well, he's okay with animals, but between the two he would rather have dogs than cats. So, but he's not a big animal person in general, if that makes sense. Like he'll go horseback riding and he'll have a dog outside, but there's certain things, and pet sitting for going on, I guess, 15 to 20 years now, ever since we were teenagers. I could see not having a pet in the household, because the ones that do, it is it's in some certain circumstances it's a nightmare, because people do not clean up after themselves, let alone animals. So it creates. Well, you can use your imagination, especially this one house we did. It was hard, and the dander and all. I struggle with allergies anyway. Well, I allergies mostly, and some seasonal allergies, but that would be tough with animals in the household. So on, big rabbit trail there, but we could keep dogs outside, and we had dogs growing up. Even though we moved a lot as kids, our dad being a preacher, we moved from church to church. We always had dogs. I think we had at one point we had three. Too many dogs. I don't know how people do more than, two. Most of the time we had one, you know, growing up. But we had probably, throughout our childhood, probably 10 dogs, I think. One was kidnapped like 3 days after we got it. One had like a heart attack. One got like big, like ringworms. One got struck by lightning. That was so bizarre. One got rabies, where a raccoon in the area got into a big fight. But the last one we did have here, Jack, after Jack Sparrow, kind of like a Jack Terrier, like mix with a little boxer and a little bit of lab. His father was McPatches, we found out later. Uh, uh, no, that was the Dalmatian. Sorry, Scrappy McPatches Williams. But Jack Sparrow Williams had him. He was my favorite dog. Scrappy was second because we had those two the longest. Anyway, sucker for any kind of dog movie, and especially with Channing Tatum. Big fan of Channing Tatum. And then this I didn't have at all, which is surprising. Christian Slater, Kevin Bacon, Murder in the First. Good old snapper case there. Into the Blue, I have the widescreen version, and I do this random thing with some movies. This, I don't think I have it, but they have, like if it's widescreen, it'd be a different color on the top edge there. So just a little unique variation. I don't do that with every movie, but Elektra, I did that with Star Wars, the prequel trilogy. I did that with a few others. There's somewhere over here there was, oh, Flight Plan. Can y'all see that? This here. I don't know if you can actually see that, but the yellow, there's yellow and black on the top edge there. So, a little unique, but My Cousin Vinny, an upgrade from VHS. Out of Sight, some J-Lo. RoboCop Trilogy, this is a cool box set with the disc in there. I think I had 1 and 3 maybe on DVD. Dante's Peak had on VHS and Blu-ray, didn't have it on DVD. Ghost Ship I technically have, but I don't have this cool lenticular artwork like that. And probably the scariest opening in cinema history. The little girl dancing and then the metal wire, that stayed with me a long time after watching that. Didn't see a dance on a boat the same way ever again. John Carpenter's Vampires. Let's see. Oh, some Davy and Goliath. Growing up as PKs, you couldn't watch. Well, we had cable, but there were some limitations. But we would watch Davy and Goliath all the time. Pretty cool show. The 50th anniversary edition. Wow. That is crazy. 50 years old. This I obviously have on DVD, signed by Tom Arnold right up there. But I want this on VHS. Just basically nostalgia. We rented this movie on VHS, so why not have it on VHS? Then some Shirley Temple here. I have the complete run of hers on the clamshells with the numbers. I believe it's 1 through 20. Comment down below. It might have gone to 22 or 23. I think it might have gone to 23. Comment down below if you know. But, it's always good to have Shirley Temple on DVD. Speaking of our dad being a pastor, we went, I think, North Carolina. It might have been somewhere else. This lady, we had our own room, and that was very rare. When you're traveling church to church, you wouldn't necessarily always get your own room for the kids. But that room had a waterbed, and we watched Cartoon Network 24/7 while we were there. But she had all the clamshells of Shirley Temple, and we watched 3 or 4 while we were there when we weren't watching Cartoon Network. So that always stuck with me. And I like the pink cases. So we have Captain January. We have Just Around the Corner. We have Stowaway. And we have Wee Willie Winky. And out of the mini Shirley Temple movies, comment down below what your favorite Shirley Temple. Mine probably would be Captain January. I probably would say that. Pretty confident in that. But comment down below. She did some amazing movies, especially being a child, singing, dancing, starring in movies. That couldn't have been easy to do. Escape from New York DVD collector set, and I'm a sucker for these collector sets. Even though I have Escape from New York, I see it right there. And the artwork on these are just incredible. They don't make sets like they used to. Of course, I will say there have been some pretty cool sets. I'm looking at the Twister 4K. That was a really cool gift set. I still have it sealed. I do eventually want to get where it's open so I can, see the stuff inside. Then, the Spider-Man Homecoming, that's probably one of my favorite sets besides the Mummy ones. Then we have Conjuring. I had 1 and 2 in a printed case. Then the Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I think I have this variation. Full screen 611. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. But since Josh was getting rid of these, why not? Why not take it? Good old Hilary Duff. James Cameron in Sanctum with this cool is that silver? Grayish silver? I had this on Blu-ray, but Josh wanted to upgrade, and my Blu-ray was not right. So Josh eventually got the Blu-ray at McKay's, so I got his DVD. The collector's edition of Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown with it. I'm pretty sure Bruce Willis is in this. Is he not? Robert De Niro. Is Bruce Willis in Jackie Brown? Maybe not. Samuel Jackson, Michael Keaton, Bridget Fonda, Robert De Niro, Pam Grier. Maybe he's not in Jackie Brown. The Mask. I have The Mask in a double feature set. It's got Mask and Son of Mask. I wanted The Mask separate. Even though I do have The Mask on Blu-ray, it's a double feature set with Dumb and Dumber. I want The Mask on its own. I have a poster over there of The Mask right by my Twister poster. So I like the movie just a little bit. So I wanted it separate on DVD. Then this, I don't believe I had on DVD. I have it on VHS. That is Walt Disney's Candle Shoe with, why am I blanking? Jodie Foster, yes. And this was before we really knew who Jodie Foster was. Really, really solid, kind of like mystery, like puzzle type movie. Really, really neat. I should get around to watching that again now that I have it on DVD. Then the last thing we got from Josh, the collector series, Heavy Metal. And when did this release? the 80s, right? 1981 heavy metal. They did do a heavy metal 2000s, which I eventually want to get. Now to the McKay's surprise. If you watch the McKay's Mabane, I found a X-Men board game, and I was kind of hesitant on the price. $30 is a lot to drop on a board game, even though it was worth that, around that price, 30 to 50, sometimes up to 80. So the price was fair. I just didn't know if I wanted to be blowing $30 on a board game, but I'm certainly glad I did. I didn't go through and check all the pieces. I just kind of judged if it looked like it was complete, and it did. Got back, was bagging up all the little items because they were just kind of loose in the box. McKay, this looked to be like from a comic shop, and they took everything out of the bags. The comic shop had them bagged and everything organized, but they took the stuff out of the bags at McKay's and tucked them underneath, which makes zero sense. I guess to show people that all the I don't know. I don't know why they did that. So I used the bags the comic book shop had to put everything back. I said it was complete. While I was doing that, I lifted to get the bags, and I saw this guy right here. This is how I know that it was a comic book shop. A bonus comic book, compliments of Second Genesis. I assume that's a comic book shop, because this is a comic book. X-Men number 20, released October 1996. I really do enjoy the X-Men comics. Big fan of X-Men. Wolverine is my third favorite character. It goes Spider-Man number 1. If you couldn't tell, a little bit obsessed with Spider-Man. Got a whole wall of Spider-Man. That wall brings me joy every time I see it, and it took a long time to get. We compiled it over the years, getting certain autographs. Obviously, we started with the grandfather here, Stanley, but then getting all the autographs, and then they just sat in my cabinet for years. And then when we redid this wall, I made sure to save a corner for Spider-Man. So that was a long time coming. You need, some people have like Zen gardens. Some people like go out and like trim their bushes. I have my little corner here that gives me solace. If you've read my book, there was a lot of times where I didn't have tranquility, I didn't have peace, but now that all that is behind me, stronger as a person, learned a lot, obviously, learned a lot of things about myself, and, stuff like this helps your mind not to wonder, or not to focus on the negative, because we all have ups and downs in life. It's important to really zero in on the positives, and I'm a overthinker. A lot of lot of family history of overthinkers. Uh, so I tend to dwell on the negative and just shoo away the positives. But doing stuff like this, doing the channel, you need little things to motivate you to stay positive, because it's for me, it's never easy to stay positive, but it's always good to be positive, even if stuff around you is negative. So we got a free comic. That is awesome. Bonus book. That was just included, and you know, this is going to be a nerd thing. I can already feel it before I even say it. I could feel the weight of the comic being heavier than a normal comic. Comic collectors, anyone that's watching, you can tell when there is something added, whether that is a art piece like that there I got out of a comic book, or in this case, it was trading cards. So we got, these were stapled inside in a bag. So we have Mr. Fantastic here. That is awesome. Who? Oh, that's Jim Lee. I thought I recognized him. He was actually at MegaCon a few month and a half, 2 months ago. I wish we could have gone. John Hanna was there, and I would have loved to meet him to get my mummy signed with the core four, especially with the fourth movie coming out, but it just wasn't in the cards. With Dumb McKay's, we were going to turn back around and go, but then a few people canceled that we wanted, and it just wasn't worth it to go for one person. If you go to conventions, you need at least 5 people that you want to meet, because out of the 5, you have a main one that you want to go with. But if you have 5 and 1 or 2 cancel, you still have 2 or 3. Typically, you want more than 5 to make it compatible, to make it worth your while. But going for one just wasn't worth it, even though it's John Hanna, and would have been great. But then we have these overpower cards, which I have seen before, but I don't think I might have 1 or 2. And we have Elektra and Magneto. Those are awesome, especially the artwork. Love the artwork. Never got into the Marvel card games. Then we end with a bang here. This, yes, this was purchased on eBay. Been waiting years and years for this. Probably 2 years ago, I traded my old Gilmore Girls seasons. Spoiler alert, I got the complete series of Gilmore Girls. This even has the revival series at the bottom, you can see. But technically, I have it in the like box set. It's like a carrying case, and it has like episode guide books and books like of the show, and it has the disc in those sleeves. So I don't really trust those. I still keep it because it's cool. We got it while we were staying at cabins in North Carolina for $4, which was great. And the books are cool to kind of look at. But I wanted this cool box set. I'm trying to do any favorite shows of mine. I'm trying to do complete series box sets on. I did it with the Discworld ones. I wanted to make sure they were good. But then, Everybody Loves Raymond was a Discworld. Monk, I would love the Blu-ray complete series of someday. But I've been holding out, waiting for a good price, and this was a reasonable price. Very good. And still sealed, so no worry of disc being scratched or anything. I'm always a little hesitant to buy a complete series online when it's used. I did do that with Bones, and luckily all the discs played through that were scratched. Most of the discs weren't scratched, most of the discs were mint. But Gilmore Girls wasn't. I was very late to the party on that one. In 2007, we of course went to Hollywood. We did background Till Death with Brad Garrett, met Brad Garrett, signed the script up here. Our mom buddied up to people in the front row, and they had scripts. They must go to a lot because she asked our mom if she wanted the scripts for us, and then we got the cast to sign. But while we were there, we went to the Warner Brothers studio tour, and they had the Gilmore Girls set. And during the tour, we were constantly making fun of it because we hadn't seen the show, but we thought it was like a chick show, all those like cookie cutter chick flick shows. So the whole time we were making fun of it, we should have been appreciating it. But then, as the years passed, went through my heartbreak that's in my book. Plug. Go to the links below if you haven't purchased my book. It's a good read, and I'm not just blowing my own horn. People have said that. That's not me saying it. But anyway, when I got gallstones, I couldn't go to work because I would be up all night in pain, and then had the surgery. Couldn't go to work because of the staples, right in here. I think there were 5 incisions, and then they take a little robot and kind of cut away the gallbladder. Anyway, so I went through the whole Gilmore Girls series and fell in love with it. One of my favorite shows now. And it kind of reminds me of my aunt and my cousin. The dynamic, it's uncanny. My aunt does not like this, the mom in the show. Is it Lorelai? Yeah, Rory and Lorelai. But it reminds me of them, and it's a very it's a comfort show in a lot of ways. Mummy is my comfort movie anytime, I feel down or anything. I put that on. Most of the time it's on TV anyway. But it is very, very awesome to have Gilmore Girls, the complete series. Comment down below any complete series that you would recommend me buy if I don't have it, or ones you're keeping an eye out to buy for your own collection. Like, subscribe, share with a movie lover. Until next time, keep collecting.